Hello everybody and welcome back to another Doctor Who review. This is Ian here, and today I'm going to be reviewing Heaven Sent, the first part of the Season 9 finale. So first off, I would like to say that this episode is amazing. It really surpassed my expectations, and is now my new favorite episode ever, which is something I haven't really known what it is up till now, but now I know. So, when I first saw the Next Time trailer for this episode, and just in general, I wasn't really expecting that much of it. It was a season finale. Why do I always do that? I always say series instead of season. Anyway, it was just going to be, your ordinary season finale. I mean, high stakes, big craziness, but I wasn't really expecting anything special or particularly stand out from the other season finales. But wow, did this episode deliver. So we leave off and face the Raven as the Doctor is teleported away to somewhere. And the plot for this episode is surprisingly simple for how complex the episode is. The Doctor finds himself trapped in a time loop, sort of a time loop. That's the best thing I can describe it as, though. In a castle, he's trapped in a castle in a time loop that's designed to torture him and get confessions out of him. Now, first of all, and then the Doctor, of course, escapes and finds himself on Gallifrey, which is where the episode leaves off for next week with Hellbent. But so this episode was confusing, but not like Sleep No More confusing. It was a mystery. They gave us all the clues, and I just didn't see how they were going to resolve it all and explain it all, but they did. Sorry. Sorry. I have a bit of a cold. But I wasn't sure how they were going to resolve it, because at first we find the Doctor in the castle being pursued by this zombie in a bedsheet sort of thing. Kind of your typical horror movie villain. I was like, oh, this is a horror. And I guess it was a horror, but that wasn't the highlight of the episode, which is not what I expected. Instead of being the driving conflict, the monster was more like the shadow lurking, always following, never ceasing, and just kind of a hovering threat that the Doctor had to face. And the Doctor finds all these clues about why he's here and what's going on. And then he finds room 12. And when the castle which he's trapped in will always move when he tells a confession, which is the only way to make the creature stop when it corners him. It's the only way he can escape. And he finds himself one confession away from escape behind a wall of pure diamond. But the Doctor says that there are some secrets that he can never tell, no matter the cost, and he does not tell it. And instead, he punches the wall of diamond over and over until he dies. And that's the end of Doctor Who. No, just kidding, it's not. And so he doesn't die immediately. He degenerates, and he crawls all the way up the tower to the teleporter to when he first arrived, and uses a version of himself that's still in the hard drive from when he first arrived to basically survive, but his old self dies. And a new one comes in the teleporter, and then a new one repeats the exact same thing until he reaches the wall of diamond, and then he punches it, and then he dies. Only he doesn't. And that keeps going on until, and the doctor, it goes on, like, they repeat it, like, at least 10 times, and every single time, it shows clips from what happened, and there's always only one difference. And that's when the doctor looks up at the stars and says, originally said, it looks like the stars have moved forward 5,000 years. And then the next one, it looks like the stars have moved forward 7,000 years. It looks like the stars have moved forward 10,000. And it just keeps going on until, in the end, he says, it looks like the stars have moved forward over 2 billion. He's been trapped in this place for over 2 billion years, punching a wall of diamond and slowly wearing it away, cutting a hole in the wall of diamonds so that he can't escape without telling his confession. And then in the end, after over 2 billion years, in a torture chamber, punching a wall of diamond, he breaks through and finds himself on Gallifrey. And he says, "Oh boy, tell them I've returned. I know what they've done. Tell them I came the long way around." But if it says anything about how good this episode was, the cliffhanger of finding Gallifrey, in my opinion, was overshadowed by the episode. And I think this is one of the first times we really saw Capaldi as the Doctor. I mean, we never really saw it in Season 8, and I don't think we really saw it in Season 9 that much either. I mean, we saw some parts in, like, The Witch's Familiar and The Magician's Apprentice, and we saw some in, like, the Zygon Inversion, but never like this. There's this one, it's a very emotional episode, but it's not like Disney's Up emotional that makes you cry. It's more like you feel bad, but you feel the doctor, if you know what I mean. Like, there's this one scene, like, it's probably the most touching scene of the episode, where the doctor just asks why he can't lose this once. It would be so easy. Why doesn't this ever happen to anyone else? And then his memory of Clara comes and just reminds him of who he is, why he must win. And to think that the Doctor wishes he would lose repeatedly over 2 billion years. Every single time he came to the castle for the first or returning time, he wishes he would lose. This is the first time we've ever seen the Doctor totally surrender to his fear, and we see a frightened child alone in a barn on Gallifrey. And I must say that I really hope it doesn't, but during this episode, I couldn't figure out how the Doctor was going to escape. Like, I was like, is this the last episode of the series? And I did not mix it up that time. Is this the last episode of the series? Is the Doctor trapped here forever? I mean, it would be a sad one, but of all the episodes I've seen, and I've seen all the new episodes and a good number of the old ones, of all the episodes that I've seen, this is the first one that I think would be worthy to end the series. No, I don't want it to, but if there was an episode that ended the series, it would be this one. Now, it would be sad, but it's just got everything that you could wish for. It's got the Doctor, like, endlessly persevering towards a goal for over 2 billion years, and then at last, he finds himself home on Gallifrey which he thought destroyed. And it would also have drawn some nice circles from the beginning to the end. Starting with, as I said, the Doctor. Chronologically, the first time we see the Doctor in Listen, when he's scared and alone, and then the last time we see him, scared and alone, in a castle designed to torture him. So overall, I love this episode. I said it was my new favorite episode ever. And I would definitely give this a 10 out of 10, an 11 out of 10. And I don't think there's any way that part 2 is going to jump anywhere near to this, but we will see. I wasn't expecting much of this one. I didn't expect much to happen in the last one. So, I suppose we will see. See you all next time.